guess he just threw me in the pot.
I did.
I'm very honored to be here and see Shawana continue to put in work, and she turned a silent cry into a loud roar. It's not many people in Detroit, in this area, that can call so many leaders together in one room. And it's not like we don't like to be in the same room together. Oftentimes we don't have the time, but when Shawana called, we usually show up. It's a lot of work to be done, not only in this nation, but Detroit has always historically been a leader when it comes to setting the trend, getting the work done. And we have a huge opportunity. When I was in prison, and I did 20 years in prison, I did 20 years for a crime I didn't commit. I was exonerated. I was treated like crap, like everybody else that was in there, had the same struggles, had the same fights, dealt with a lot of the same sharp knives that everybody else in there dealt with. But when I was in prison, there was a time, every blue moon, they would make a mistake and put several people on the same prison yard that they never let be on the same prison yard together. Now, everybody listening to the time know what I talk about. When you look around, you look on your yard and say, hey, messed up. They let all of us get here together? And that's what it's like in Detroit now. They've made a mistake and allowed so many dynamic and beautiful and brilliant and tough leaders be out here at the same time. At the same time. And every now and then, we were able to accomplish things in prison by having so many dynamic people on the prison yard at the same time. We was able to huddle up and come to some sort of consensus of some work that needed to be done, an idea that needed to be pushed, and we had put it together, and just like clockwork, they started snatching us up and putting us on emergency ride-outs and sending us to different locations because they realized they made a mistake by having so much power on the yard. Now, life is not promised to any of us. Any of us. We only got so much time to get it done. So much time to get it done. If you're lucky, we get 80 years out of this body. If we're lucky, we get 80 years out of this body. What are we going to do with it? What are we going to do with it? Like my brother said, on your tombstone and in your obituary, it's not going to talk about none of the people you didn't like or who didn't like you. None of that is going to be on there. None of it. It's not going to be talked about in 25 years, 50 years, 100 years, or what type of clothes you wore. None of that is going to be talked about. But your work can live forever.
100%.
When you're doing the mission, when you're walking that path, when you set the example, that's going to live forever. We follow the example of men that lived 2,000 years ago, 4,000 years ago. And we're making sure that their names are not going to be forgotten for another 2,000, 4,000 years. But our people that need to be saved by us specifically, we talk about them 6 months after they dead and never bring their name up again. Because they're not living long enough to even for their purpose to be manifested. They're not even living long enough to tap into it. That's what this work is about. That's what this work is about. Yes, death is promised, but we got to keep our people alive long enough to get God's gift out of them so that the rest of humanity can benefit from it. That's what this work is about. It's not the grandstand and get the stage and get the spotlight, because none of that's going to be talked about in the history books either. None of it's going to be talked about. Just the mission, and if we fail or if we're successful, that's what's going to be talked about in the history books. But this is a walk or a journey through history. Our people have always written history in advance. We've always written history and then walk into it, opposed to living life and letting somebody else tell our story. That's why scriptures is a script. It's a script because it's written in advance. What are we going to tell about our story today that we're going to walk into tomorrow? And that's what this work is about. It may have started with a silent cry. But because of the work of Shawana and other leaders like her, we've turned this into a movement. Now we're very loud. We're very loud to where everybody that needs to hear us is going to hear us. And I pledge to each and every one of you, from myself and others that I know believe like I believe, that I'm committed to working with every leader and those that don't know that they're leaders. I'm committed to working with you for the sake of our people. Our people need us. The youth need us. They're under attack. They're attacking them through the food, like the brother said. They're attacking them through everything. They're attacking their ears. They ain't got nothing but filth and garbage playing on the radio, on TV, the internet, social media, all day, every day. They need us. They need us. We were made for this moment. We were literally made for this moment. All them years of sitting on the porch talking about each other, when they say playing dozens, all them years, we were tough. We were made for this moment to save them from what they're going through. So it's time to get on our job. It's time to walk our post. It's time to do what we're supposed to do. We know what we got to do. We know what we got to do. So with that, I love you.